All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Freezin NFC North Podcast, episode 119. Bears take down those Packers.
Finally,
yes. Bears head coach search, and will the real NFC North Super Bowl contender please stand up? Lots to get to. Obviously, we should be having some Packer contenders coming on very soon. I know we had Miles and JJ lined up to come on, so hopefully they will be joining soon. Not sure we're gonna have a Vikings fan, but hey, this is what happens when the Vikings lose, isn't it?
All the time, all last year.
I'll
give Shelby a pass. You know, they got the wildfires popping off, so I definitely respect that. You get yourself safe into a safe place. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with that. I'm okay.
Absolutely. And welcome in JJ Leahy. He is
Thanks for having me
on Twitter, and he is a bear troll, so he is the anti-me, I guess. But like both of us, we don't take ourselves too seriously. Welcome in. Where can everyone find you as we get started?
Yeah, so running a really fun podcast these days called Derailed Football. Yeah. You can just go to derailedfootball.com and check out our live stream. We're doing Tuesday nights right now. We're talking about Green Bay Packers, we're talking about NFL draft, and we're talking Northern college football. It is a super, super fun time.
Very nice. Well, Derailed sounds like that game versus the Bears, but we'll get into that. How about that?
Oh, yeah. We had some words on that post-game podcast. Let me tell you, we had some words.
And I don't even know if I know who this guy is, but I'm going to let him introduce you. I mean,
you see his eyes.
Yeah, who's this? So, Miles, where can we find you as we get started?
Sorry, guys. I got to get into character here. Hang on.
All right, there. Okay.
Future's still bright. My bad.
There you go.
Evening, fellas. Good evening. Miles Teddick here. Catch me on the Pack Weekly podcast every Monday night, 9:30, streaming live, having a good time talking Pack. Good to see you, fellas. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. A lot of great stuff there as well. You can find me on NFLOutdated on Twitter, X, on YouTube, and on the TikTok machine, Freezin 4 Pod, and we have seventh letter in the spot. Where can everyone find you as we get started?
Welcome to the Freezin 4 Podcast, aka it's still on top of the NFC North. Detroit Lions, 7th letter 4 at Twitter, X, same OG on Instagram and Facebook. I tried to tell you what was gonna happen, and nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. 6-0 in this sorry ass division. No Vikings, nowhere to be found.
Hey, I searched.
They ducking the hide, they crying, they
everywhere.
Face the music.
Oh,
everywhere.
Now we don't respect women. We don't respect women now. We
yes.
Girls at the thing. Get the fuck out of here, yo.
And what you're referencing?
Trump is our president, yo. Nobody cares, yo.
What you're referencing is the Lions fans that
saw from Stafford wife, yo.
Yeah,
Stafford, they booed our kids. Nobody booed you. You got on a Vikings jersey. We booing you with your Viking shit on, yo. You crazy? Your owner bought $2 million worth of tickets. We booing everybody with a Vikings jersey because we think you one of them. Come on, man. Stop this shit.
I've got some owner stuff to talk about with the Bears, and it also involves the Lions as well. But let's go ahead and get started with. I'm going to let JJ, since it's been a while. I'm going to let you go ahead and start. Tell us what happened as the Packers were kicked at Lambeau in 24-22, that lost to the Bears. Pass out some blame. Obviously.
Sure.
Tell us what happened.
Yeah, no, and that was a bad performance. Going 0-5 against the top 3 teams in the NFC that's some nasty business right there. Went 1-5 against the division. Should have gone 0-6 against the division, but the Bears were so incompetent they couldn't take advantage of how bad we played the first time we played them. Second time, at the beginning of the game, I was feeling frustrated with how the Packers were playing because it was trash, and I issued a challenge to the Chicago Bears. And I tweeted, "Theory: the Packers can't possibly play poorly enough to lose to this Bears team." Because I wanted to see if the Bears could step up and take advantage, and they did. Kudos to them. They beat our backups on a day when our starters and our backups, everybody was playing just horrible. So that was hard to see. I don't like seeing the Packers play below what I know their capability is, because we've seen them show up this year against some really good teams, play fantastic football. I know what they can do. But yeah, there's just some problems on offense with guys not playing up to their ability. And I'm not in that locker room, so I don't know what the reason for that is. I've got all my theories. I'm hopeful that that they can find it within themselves in the wake of that Bears game to step up to the plate, play as well to a man as they all can, and really take it to Philly, because I think there's no question that we can go beat Philly. No question at all. We have the talent. They just haven't been playing like they have the talent. So, it's hard to watch when you see individual guys on the team and you know how talented they are, and you watch them go out there and not give it their best effort. That's hard to watch.
I mean, not hard to watch for me, but hey, that's okay. I respect it. And yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, the Packers have more talent than the Bears right now. Obviously they maybe didn't have they weren't at full strength, but hey, the Bears weren't either. So, but I get it. You want to give the team kudos and still be positive. Now, Miles, you're always positive with those glasses as well, right?
Oh, of course. I've got optimism. As far as what I think happened against the Bears, I don't know. It didn't happen. I blocked it out. It's a totally meaningless game. And the Packers are in the playoffs and the Bears are not. So
you don't have to listen to this. You don't have to listen to this.
Meaningless.
It's meaningless.
No. The way that I really feel is I don't care if you're playing a game on Sunday or any other day of the week that ends in Y. If you're playing against the Bears in a game of poker in the cafeteria, it should be unacceptable to lose. And LaFleur has set that tone with his time so far in Green Bay. And so I was very disappointed because it did feel like they half-assed it. And that's not excuse making, because again, like, it should be unacceptable to lose to the Bears to anything. Like absolutely anything, any circumstances, preseason games, scrimmage, don't care. You should never lose to the Bears, period. So I hate that loss, and that's why I'm just totally ignoring it. But no, I own it. I'm just ignoring it in my own Packer fan world. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not taking anything away from you, Andy. You guys have been waiting a long time for that win. You got it at Lambeau. Good for you. I bet it tasted even better at Lambeau. And, it probably makes it even sweeter for you to know that I was at the last time the Packers lost to the Bears at Lambeau. Well, just at all, but at Lambeau on Thanksgiving. What was that? 2015, I think. So yeah, ugly, inexcusable losses, but really all that matters is that the future's still bright. Because again, Packers are in the playoffs, Bears are not. Who cares? See you later. And I totally agree with JJ. This team can beat the Eagles, no doubt about it. I got my Reggie jersey right here. We're channeling some Reggie energy this week. And absolutely, my real optimistic fan theory here is, and whether it's realistic or not, I don't care. Halfley and LaFleur have been saving their good stuff for the postseason.
So many seventh letter, so many backhanded compliments. Hey, I'll take it. They're compliments. But JJ, what was the deal with Jacobs not playing very much? I mean, was he just scared of the Bears, or?
when you are assessing the way that the Packers offense was playing and the struggles they were having in the passing game, it's hard for me to be too concerned about what we're doing with our lead running back. In a game where we know we have a really tough Eagles opponent coming up. All my focus, I think LaFleur's focus as well, was on trying to get the passing game working. I think that Jordan Love has been fine. I don't think he's been playing horrible, but certainly not where you need to be if you want to make a deep playoff push. The real problem is just whatever is going on in the wide receiver room. Really don't know what the heck is going on. Obviously, Christian Watson going down, tearing his ACL, horrible. Romeo Doubs, who's been playing the best football of the other wide receivers, missing that game. That was hard. And that's the game where you need Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks to step up. Don't know what's going on with Jaden Reed. He had that one, crazy deep catch. The only bright spot on the day for him. Only bright spot in the back half of the season for him, honestly. I don't know what's going on with him or with the wide receiver room as a whole. That sophomore slump is really hitting those guys hard, and they're going to need to play with some consistency and some confidence against the Eagles and next year. I really don't question their talent. I do question where their heads are at. That's what's going on there.
It's so interesting, how the narrative can change, right? I mean, it had even had the Bears made that field goal in the first game, I mean, where would things be? But like this, you want to go into the playoffs on a positive note. Obviously, as a Bears fan, I'm glad going into off season with a win.
I think this win can be huge for you guys for next year. Honestly, I do.
It can, and obviously that's why I have to and RevTrev will enjoy this. The Bears exercised Lambeau Demons in Week 18. It really was. I mean, and obviously I get a lot of Packer fans, framing it. It's a meaningless game, but hey, for Caleb Williams and where he's at, I think he really needed that. And actually, the really cool thing about that final drive. So the big thing, and obviously I think we've talked about or heard a lot about what happened, but on that last pass to DJ Moore, the cool thing is that the crazy thing is that Williams admitted to the media that it wasn't even the original play call, right? And so he saw something and he signaled to DJ Moore to adjust his route, right? And basically what it was called is like a glance route. And to have my rookie quarterback, when it matters, at Lambeau, come down and do something like that. I mean, yes, you're right. I think it's springboard for me, and at least in my thinking, and hopefully for whatever new coach comes in here and to really kind of see that, hey, he's got what it takes in those moments. I mean, how many times did he drive the team down in the last minute only to be basically screwed out of a win because of coaching or whatever? So I love that for
Absolutely.
my team. I love that for Caleb. Obviously, I wish that we were in the playoffs, but hey, me, I got to take some positives, right? Seventh letter. I mean,
Well, I think Caleb Williams is really good. He's really good.
Right.
But yeah. I want to ask the Packers a question. Like earlier in before the season started, I know like the Josh Jacobs signing was like a really important one because I think it made y'all a little bit more rugged in the running game. But for some reason, it looks like this year you guys are really, really missing Aaron Jones, like bad.
Ooh.
And he kind of was like a little blanky for Jordan Love. You know what I'm saying? Like one thing that made Aaron Jones dangerous is his ability to receive out the backfield, and he's explosive. And Josh Jacobs is an excellent running back in his own right, but that Aaron Jones factor, like that being able to take it to the house out of the backfield and get him in the matchup problems that he presented, I think like that's what's really lacking in your offense today, because Jordan Love's, starting the game with 60 yards in the first half. You know what I'm saying? Like Malik had more yards passing than him. That's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And like I seen it, like I guess I judged Jordan Love off of that Thanksgiving game because it was like, yo, this is what made the Packers scary to me. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, for some reason, it's not that scary to me anymore. You know what I mean? It's like he's not performing until the second half. It's too late. Now you got to come back again. Like, what y'all do? Y'all miss Aaron Jones at all? Like,
I'm certainly not going to sit here and slander the how good of a player Aaron Jones is. That's not my intent. I have all the respect in the world for him, and I commend you for recognizing that the real value in a top tier running back is their value in the passing game. That's 100% correct. I think that there's other guys who can do the same thing that Aaron Jones does. To me, the big problem is the wide receivers who are dropping passes that they have two hands on, and you drop that many first downs, that many deep shots, and it's an accurate pass, hits you in both the hands. There's not a defender in there breaking it up. You just drop it. That's what kills the passing game. So, to me, my focus is squarely on those pass catchers have to play better than they've been playing. I think it's a confidence issue for them, 100%. They're getting open, but the hands just aren't there. And so, is that a question of the type of receivers we're bringing in? That all of them did have some concentration drop problems in college. That's something to look at for sure. Do I think that we're missing Aaron Jones overall in the offense? Not really. Josh Jacobs has been good in the receiving game. Aaron Jones, basically at no point in his career, was able to handle 20, 30 carries a game all season like Josh Jacobs has been doing for us. So, and I also, the safety valve that you're talking about, Tucker Kraft has been providing that. And I think honestly he's been our best receiving option, especially in the second half of this season. So, would it be nice to have a guy, a back like Aaron Jones doing the same thing on the other side of the field to complement Tucker Kraft? Of course, I'm not going to turn down having a good player. But if you're asking me to respond to, the question like, hey, is not having Aaron Jones there the difference now between the offense playing well and not playing well? No, we saw this even in the course of this season, them playing well and them not playing well. And to me, the entire difference has been making those catches versus all the drops. When you got 10 drops a game, it's hard to have any kind of passing success, when you can't rely on your guys to haul in passes. So I'm squarely putting the blame on the pass catchers for not catching those. And I'm also calling out Jordan Love, look, love you, dude. Have zero concerns about how good he's going to be long term. But in the short term here, I'd like him to hold his teammates to task. I'd like him to elevate those guys and demand that they play better. And listen, if you want me to throw the ball to you, you need to haul in these passes. Let's, go put in the work together, figure out what you need to be able to help me win this game. But, that's the kind of leadership we need from him.
Well, he victimized me. You know what I need him to do? I need him to set his feet and throw the ball. Stop throwing it off your back foot all the time for no reason. Stop. Stop. Set your feet, please. Thank you. Because I rooted for y'all against the Vikings 2 weeks ago and throwing off his back foot and disappointing me. Like, why is he? Well, for what? For what? Also, I think the locker room, I think Aaron Jones, like even what he did for the Vikings locker room, I think like it's very undervalued what he did for them. You know what I'm saying? Just his presence in the locker. That's one thing I hear about the Packers. He went back to Green Bay. They was hugging him.
And that was one of the things I was going to say is, and I can't really disagree with anything JJ said, but what I would build on is definitely the chemistry in the locker room. But my accountability, like the person I'm holding accountable in this situation is LaFleur. He's got weapons. And to your point, JJ, they got to catch the ball, but I don't think LaFleur is using the weapons that he's got responsibly. Like, I think that you've definitely got the ability to make up for losing that playmaking ability that you lost from Aaron Jones with Reed, with Wicks, with Dobbs. And obviously Watson's not there anymore, but Watson, he plays a decoy role, but he's sucking up 2-3 defenders on the back end every time. That's huge, and now that's gone. I expect fully for that Aaron Jones role to be compensated for with play calling, and those guys that he's got already at his disposal, Kraft, and now Musgrave has been, he's gotten more snaps each of the last 3 weeks. So hopefully we see more Musgrave too against the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, LaFleur's got weapons, and sure, we can always say he should have more, and all that. Emmanuel Wilson is not a bad running back. The guy is explosive.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you guys are kind of like crapping on LaFleur a little bit, but as a Bears fan sitting back, I still love LaFleur. When you looked at, I don't know, it was Emmanuel Wilson or whatever, some of the play designs that he had, and it was like whatever one went right up the middle with like Wilson, and it was just like, I mean, that I love that play design. Like, it was just the defense didn't know what to do with it, and they didn't even have Aaron, they didn't even have Jacobs, and they were still moving the ball. Obviously, the defense definitely made the plays when they needed to, but I mean, that was frustrating as a Bears fan to watch. So I mean, I get it. Yeah, I mean, LaFleur probably you're frustrated with LaFleur, but he does have flashes where he has that ability. I don't know, maybe some of these offensive play callers, coaches, or whatever, they just in the moment, I don't know, they just crap the bed or whatever it is. But
for me, that's the frustrating part, is we've seen LaFleur, and I think when LaFleur is at his best, man, I don't know that there's anybody better. He's had some seriously good play designs, concept designs. I mean, even some of his best coaching performances is when he's down receiver 1 through 3, and he still goes on the road on a short week with, less than good weapons and wins against a good team. He's done that multiple times. So you've seen it. And that's where it's like, well, dang, dude, why can't you beat the Bears in week 17 or week 8, whatever week it is, at Lambeau Field, even with Malik Willis? You've won 2 games with Malik Willis this year. You should be able to win that game. And and this is no shade, Andy, I just feel like they took their foot off the gas.
Miles,
they took that game.
Miles, can I jump in for a second? I want to react to you asking, why can't we beat the Bears? The most dangerous team in the Packers' way, and this has been true since 18, is the Packers. All right.
Oh,
Packers have more creative ways to beat themselves, and you go ask any Packer fan who was watching that Packers-Bears game, and I think any Bears fan also would say the same thing. The Packers were killing themselves on every single drive. Fumble, drop pass, bad snap, just like mistake after mistake after mistake. Special teams stabbing them back over and over again. When the Packers are playing their best, not many teams in the NFL can beat them. The Packers, every few games, like to jump out of the closet and stab themselves in the back. And, this has been a season where that has happened more frequently. And it's been a problem. And that's something they're going to have to figure out. And I do not say that to take away any credit from the teams that they're playing against. Just to say, hey, my focus is not like, ooh, these other teams are scary. It's inward frustration at, we are better than this. We can overcome these problems. We need to fix them internally.
So this is where I love on Twitter to do my my shtick, right? My title town is choke town, all that, right? Like, but it is kind of true though. Like, I think, right, Packer fans are, like, oh, when there's a loss, oh my gosh, we got in the way. Maybe you're just not as good yet. As you think you are. Maybe you're not, and I get it. You got the talent. Jacobs was an undervalued signing by me. But when you look at it, yes, Jordan Love has the talent, but he's taken a step back. I look at that game, and I mean, y'all almost stole that game from us. We had that game. That was our game. And we just, almost I think I put in our chat, I said that, I'm going to cry if the Bears lose 22-21 or whatever it was. It almost happened. But Jordan Love, he was not sharp at all. And so whatever's happening, obviously, he has to go somewhere in off season and figure out his feet. He's got to figure out his decision making. I think all he do, he's got to figure out, being that leader, because he got paid like it. So I get it. I mean, Green Bay, everybody in the media is like, anytime, Green Bay wins a game, oh, they're dark horse. They're the dark horse. They can do it. They can do it.
They was acting after they beat the Saints. Like, come on.
I saw it today online. I said, and maybe it was shout out to, there are a couple of Packer friends online that were saying, well, whoever wins this game, Eagles, Packers, going to the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. Really? I get it. You got that optimism. But you just gotta maybe the Packers aren't that good, or if you are that good, maybe the Bears aren't that far off. Maybe they're not that far.
Andy, I don't want to take this away from you because your team won, and this is your right to get to gloat and have all the fun you want. And so I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let you have that. I do want to put a question to you because I'm just have been curious about this.
Yeah.
Can you give me the Chicago Bears perspective here? Mm-hmm. There's been a bit of a change in DJ Moore the last few weeks. And on the broadcast, the Fox announcers were talking about, I think that the Bears were calling it being less selfish. Mm-hmm. I think is how they were describing it. Prior to that last few week stretch where DJ seems to have a change of mindset and change of heart, do you think he was at that point on track to be back in Chicago in 2025? Obviously, the answer now is yes. But prior to that shift, do you think that he was on the track to being back in Chicago in 2025 or no?
Yeah, I think he always was. I mean, they paid him like it, right? But I think we've been talking about this on the podcast for a while. Just how his demeanor, how it doesn't help. I think just he's so outwardly. You'll see just him reacting and quitting on plays, things like that. I think. Some of that's overblown in the media, right? But some of it is, I think, just him getting frustrated with not being used correctly. And I think if you get a smart offensive coordinator, smart offensive play caller, coach, they're going to maybe put him in the slot more, and maybe year two of Rome Odunze actually use him as that number one guy. And so it's just play design. I mean, that's why I'm all three of the teams in the division. I am I wish I had your coaches or offensive play callers just at least to have some creative designs to say, okay, these are the playmakers, put them in position to make plays. And you see that with DJ Moore, you give him the ball, he's able to just like squirm and find just the holes. And so, but it is frustrating to kind of watch, him, I just that outwardly being frustrated with, miscues, mistakes, but I think even the coaches and so he was always going to be back. I mean, it's a great question. Okay. He's always going to be back, but it's just, I think, and Seventh Letters brought this up quite a bit as well about Keenan Allen and just some of these other, and just it's infectious with the attitude. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win, but what's going to happen in adversity. And I was happy, and I'm hearing on Chicago radio too that we had every excuse in the world just to kind of lay down versus the Packers and say, it's a lost season. Let's move in to the off season with the loss. But we fought for that game, and
but you guys deserve all the credit in the world because you clearly did want to win the game and you played like it. And to your point from 5 minutes ago or whatever, when you were talking about how the game ended, you guys were playing like you wanted to win. And the way the Packers were playing, you couldn't convince me they wanted to win. That they didn't look like it. They looked like they, were going to be content with whatever the score was going to be. And I give a lot of credit to young Caleb and his offensive line and everybody working together to put those points on the board when it really mattered. All right, that's a killer instinct that I haven't seen from him for the whole season, and finishing that way, I think is huge, and I think he can carry that into next season. And having a new coach, finishing strong, those are things that are going to build him up mentally and have him convinced that he and the rest of the team are going to have what it takes going into next year. And that's huge. That's half the battle right there, is getting your head in the right spot.
So here's a question for you, Miles. Then, and obviously we're Packer heavy. We'll get to the Lions definitely.
Wow.
You'll wait. But obviously, it's easy to say, the Packers, we didn't play up to our ability. We could still win this and that. But I mean, you have some similar issues. I mean, like Jair Alexander. I don't know what his deal has been this season.
It's a busted leg. Been a busted leg, yeah.
Well, even before that, I feel like just his attitude, so he
had attitude issues last year, but that's a long time ago.
And a whole defensive coordinator ago too. I mean,
a
lot of those issues
I wouldn't have played for Joe Barry. You know as well as anybody how bad of a job Joe Barry was doing. Jair was frustrated with Joe Barry. Management of the team, this is a year ago, management of the team went to him and said, listen, sorry, you're a leader of the team. I get that you don't like the defensive coordinator. Change is coming, but you need to be a team player and help lead the locker room. Jair, to his credit, he got it. He showed up, balled out to end the season. He was playing great football this year, busted his leg, had season-ending surgery. He was trying to come back a bunch of weeks. There ain't no problems with Jair's attitude.
No.
So
I want to get his leg healed up for sure, but I have zero concerns about Jair. He is a lifeblood of this team.
And
I'm a huge Jair fan.
Exactly it. The evidence is in that it took him this long to go to IR. If he had a bad attitude, he would have gone to IR a long time ago. So the fact that it took him this long to be declared done, that's all.
He's been working his butt off trying to come back. If there was any kind of attitude issues, man, season over, I'm going to Cancun. I'm going to go be sipping Mai Tais and having a good time. And maybe, if I don't want to be here, maybe I'm going to be schmoozing, teams and stuff and trying to find a new landing spot. No, he was working his butt off trying to get back. And, it sucks that his leg was in the condition that it was.
Yeah. So, Miles, what's worse, loss for the obviously playoffs, either Jair Alexander or Christian Watson?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, man. Personally, I lean Christian Watson, and they have done a really good job all season of compensating for not having Jair around. And I think a lot of his impacts still can be had in the film room, on the practice field. Christian Watson is a different one, man. When you don't have him, when LaFleur doesn't have him as a play caller to work with, it changes the whole offense and how he runs it. And so losing that element going right into the playoffs, it's not like they've been, working without him most of the season. They haven't, yeah, he's been in and out, but they've had him most of the season. Losing him right now, I think is a real gut punch, and they really do need to figure out as an offense what's going to work for them, because you just got this guy who was a complete lightning rod. Now you've got to figure out a way to get those 2 to 3 defenders' attention on a every down basis without that guy. So I think that's a big challenge. Whereas on the defensive side of the ball, there's a couple of ways that I think that they can compensate being without Jair right now, and they've already been working at that. So not as impactful. But I mean, if you're talking long term, like which guy would you rather have around? That's a really tough question to answer, because to JJ's point, Jair is, in my opinion, he is just as meaningful to the defensive side of this locker room as Aaron Jones was to the offense last year. Well, when he was here, when he was in Green Bay. So I don't know. That's
yeah. I also want to piggyback. Everything you said about Christian Watson is 100% correct. But I also think that it's equally important that he was playing the best football out of all our wide receivers, and Romeo Dobbs was playing well as well. But like Christian Watson was the best wide receiver that we had. With the way that Jaden Reed and Tay Wicks have been playing, like Christian Watson was, head and shoulders above them from a consistency standpoint, with just like he was that baller. He was that guy you could go to, and he was going to go make a play. So, I mean, if they're going to win anything going forward, Reed and Wicks have got to step up, and we need to get Dobbs back healthy. So, it's going to be difficult to navigate the loss of Christian Watson, whereas we have been navigating the loss of Jair Alexander already and have a blueprint for how to do that. So,
right.
Everything you said was 100% correct too.
Well, let's move on to the team that is head and shoulders right now above the rest of us. The Lions sink the Vikings 31-9 in a de facto NFC North Championship matchup, claim the NFC number 1 seed in the playoffs. Go ahead and hand out some helmet stickers for your team, 7th letter.
Yeah. Congratulations to myself and my Detroit Lions. You know what, man? I'll be looking at the media all week, and they talking about the game was a lot closer than the score indicates and all this. I'm like, wow, they can't show us no love. Sam Darnold just had. I'm like, how you think he had a bad game? We got a pass rush. We was in his face, made him scared. He was throwing the ball high. That's what he Darnold. He did what he do. We had the coverage looking cloudy. We know this about him. This is what he do. It's just it is what it is. It's Amik Robinson wasn't afraid, and he played his best game he had as a Detroit Lion. I mean, I can't say enough about what the defense did. If our defense continues playing this way, you know what I mean, and giving these quarterbacks. See, we don't have no Superman quarterbacks to me in the NFC. You know what I mean? Like, we got good throwers, but the AFC is where the Supermen are. You know what I mean? That's the Josh Allen and the Lamar, and
that's fair.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody here is kind of Jalen Hurts is he's mid to me personally. I think that
Saquon is for a while. Yeah.
I think Saquon is carrying the Eagles, in my personal opinion. They got that really good offensive line. They don't touch Saquon until he gets to the second level. And he's 225, 230 pounds. You know what I mean? He get into the secondary. Those, the back safeties and cornerbacks ain't gonna tackle him. So he carrying them, and I just don't think that the Eagles could really run on us like that. So I'm just proud of us, man. It was a really, really, really impressive win. I think one thing about LaFleur and O'Connell, when they play us, like, they try to be a little bit more aggressive than they normally are. They kind of try to play our game, you know what I mean? Since they know we going for it, then all of a sudden they going for it and shit like that.
Yeah.
It is like, that's not you. The game was 7-6. You know what I mean? They just, like, the Vikings kind of choked. Like, it just, like, the whole team to me. The defense played their ass off. The defense kept a minute the whole time, but if you're not scoring and the defense is constantly on the field, like, after a while, Levy's gonna break and the run game started clicking. We started picking up 6 and 7 every time we running the ball. You know what I mean? They stopped giving the ball to Aaron Jones. I think maybe Aaron Jones might have had because he was kind of killing us a little bit on the outside. And I think
he only had 45 yards. Cam Akers had 65 yards on 6 carries.
He had that long run. He had that long run.
8-yard run, yeah.
Anzalone overran the fucking thing. But, I gave him, some grace. He just came back. But, like, it's just they're two finesse teams. And finesse teams don't really match up well with us because we'll touch you. We'll put your hands on. We don't care about pass interferences, obviously. You know what I'm saying? They got to play to our physicality. Whenever we have tough games, the other team is physical too. So Tampa Bay will give us a problem because that defense is physical. You know what I'm saying? The Bills gave us a headache because that's a physical offensive line, physical defensive line. You know what I mean? But finesse teams don't really do well. Like, they don't match up good with us, and that's why we was able to beat y'all with less. Beat the Packers and the Vikings because they're finesse. You know what I mean? And we're going to put our hands on you. We're going to, our defensive line is going to cause a little, commotion in the pocket. So I think, like, just the game plan that Aaron Glenn put together. And he kind of, it was like one of those, like, let's just trust, Darnold to do Darnold things. And Darnold did Darnold things. That's how he wasn't even throwing to, like, he was holding the ball. That's another thing that's been a knock on Darnold, and we just made him hold the ball and make him unsure about what he was seeing, and it worked. You know what I mean? And I think I'm going to lose both my coordinators without a doubt this year.
Man, so I wanted to ask that question. I was looking for the opportunity. If you are a team, not the Lions, and you got to hire one of those guys, which one are you taking?
I'm taking. I'm going to take. You know what? I know because I give Ben Johnson a hard time, but I'm just the confidence he instilled in that quarterback, where it was like, yo, we got him for free, then we got draft picks with him. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of stole. You know what I mean? We built,
for sure.
and just how he he just looks so docile, but he's so fucking tough, and it's all from the staff instilling that confidence in him. Aaron Glenn, just only problem I got with Aaron Glenn is like when we get running quarterbacks, I don't know. Something about him. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at the Packers when they play against running quarterbacks, and y'all just they get like 3 yards of carry. Like running quarterbacks kill us. So I think like that's the only thing with him, and he's like real stubborn in this game. Like if we don't have a pass rush, he'll blitz, and the good teams know he's blitzing. But for some reason, the Vikings just didn't pick that up. It just kind of scared Darnold. So thank God Darnold's, scary. But Ben Johnson, he's smart, and he kind of knows they built the offense around the skill set of Jared Goff. If Ben Johnson gets into a Chicago situation where he has a quarterback that can move off the spot, Jesus. But I don't know if he's a leader man. And I think that's what the players need.
We'll talk about that a little bit. Let's move on. I know JJ only has a few minutes left. Let's move on to the Packer preview here, Packer versus the Eagles, and then we'll kind of get into some other stuff as well. So, JJ, I want to give you to give your thoughts on the Packers at Eagles. What are some keys that you see? Obviously, it's going to be a tough game. Eagles are favored by 4.5. So go ahead and what are your keys to the Packers actually pulling the upset?
Yeah, actually a little bit surprised that Eagles are only favored by 4.5 at home. I would probably set the line a little bit further in the Eagles' favor. That being said, I would give the Packers probably a 45% chance of pulling this one off. I think it's certainly doable. But they're going to have to play well. They're going to have to play their game. So it's going to start on defense. You got to be able to force Philly to throw it. I'm not the biggest Saquon believer, but he's had some really good games against the Packers. He certainly knows how to take advantage of what we're doing.
Could you expound?
And their offensive line is absolutely incredible. The Eagles' offensive line is so good. They made DeAndre Swift look competent.
JJ, expound on what you're not feeling about Saquon. Please expound.
He's good. He's been around for a long time. We know what he can do. He's fine. He's not Derrick Henry. He might look like Derrick Henry, every 7-8 games, whatever. He's fine. But that Eagles' offensive line, man. That is incredible, and what's more crazy is that they've been able to sustain that production on offensive line year after year here with no dip. You lose Jason Kelce, and there's still just no dip. It's just so impressive what they do.
JJ,
so
I would say, JJ, do you work in the Giants front office or?
I hate the Giants.
But that take. That's obviously the Giants didn't value Saquon. Look,
but the Eagles have had a fantastic running game with the most crap pile of running backs you've ever seen. Miles Sanders, awful. DeAndre Swift, sorry, Andy. DeAndre Swift, awful. Saquon is good. He's way better than those guys, but he doesn't put fear in me. The Eagles' offensive line puts fear in me. Jalen, Saquon, it doesn't matter who you put back there. They're going to hurt you on the ground because of that offensive line. So that's going to be the key. The Packers' defensive line is really going to have to get after it. And I think that it's probably going to take a big game from Devontae Wyatt and Kenny Clark to stop up the middle there and start. That's where your push needs to start is with those guys. So if you can do that, I like I like our pass rush and coverage against the Eagles' passing game, especially since it seems like Jalen Hurts is not going to really be at 100%. So it really is all going to be about, on defense, about stopping that running game. So that's going to be huge. And then on offense, it's going to be a question of, number one, and we've touched on it a bunch in this episode, that LaFleur's play calling needs to elevate the guys that he has. I think that sometimes he can kind of get too confident and want to take some shots that aren't really there. And I think he needs to really get in his bag and drop some good plays. And then it's just going to come down to, can these freaking wide receivers hold on to these passes that hit him in both hands? That's what's going to be. And if you're making mistakes, if you're turning the ball over, if you're dropping passes, fumbling the ball, it's going to be a long night. But if you can play clean football, I like the Packers' chances against Philly.
So are you going to go ahead on a limb and pick the Packers?
Well, I said 45%, but I think gut factors into this too. I liked what LaFleur said about the guys in the locker room after that Chicago loss. He seems to think that they're going to have their head in the right spot. So I don't know. I'm just nervous to make that pick because he said that before in times when it didn't pan out so much. I'm probably gonna take Philly here.
Okay.
But it's close. I think it's either gonna be Packers get blown out or Packers win. That's what I think, honestly.
That's fair. I've seen this before. Last year, Packers versus the Cowboys. I was confident that the Cowboys were going to blow them out. I started to see.
You were?
Of course, I was, and then I saw this. It just unfold, and I just turned it off. I couldn't watch it. So, I mean,
Cowboys can't beat the Packers since Brett Favre, yo.
Yes, but I was confident. I was confident. Seventh letter. I don't know, Miles. Are you a little bit more confident than JJ here?
I might be like a little bit more confident than JJ.
45% more confident?
I am pretty optimistic. I'm a pretty optimistic Packers fan. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time thinking that they can lose. But I think I agree with the sentiment that they either win or they get blown out. Like they either show up and really put in a good day and put in one of their best games. And I want to tie back to something that was said before. The Packers we've seen, you said, Andy, when they win games, everybody's predicting they could be the dark horse to win the Super Bowl. When they win games, they win in impressive fashion, right? Like we've seen the Vikings go to Seattle and struggle to win, but the Packers go to Seattle and win by multiple scores, right? Like we shut out the Saints. Like the Saints aren't a great team, but they're not the worst team in the league. And right now, the Packers have the only shutout in the season. So it's just like when they win, man, they win emphatically. And you see it when it all comes together. You're like, dang, that's good. Like that's a good team right there when it comes together. But when it doesn't, it's a freaking mess. And so that's what I think we saw, the last couple of weeks, at least, I hear you frustrated Packers fans out there, but I can't let go of whenever we see it come together. It's it's good. It's as good as it gets, I think, and they can go toe to toe with the best in the league. The problem is they haven't put it together against the best in the league. And that is frustrating, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. So I think, I'm going to go ahead and I'll pick the Packers to win this game. A couple of things. My biggest thing was listening to LaFleur's press conference, not right after the game, but I think it was like a couple days ago.
Next day.
Yeah, maybe next day. And he was talking about, I can't remember what exactly the question was asked to him, but he said something. It was about preparation. He said something along the lines of, I didn't know that was the plan, and if I did, I would have changed it, or something to that effect. And that's where I'm going, dadgummit, dude. I think that there's some of what they were doing last year creeping in. So last year, when things looked like a total mess, there was 1 week after the bye week that LaFleur said, we're shaking things up. And I remember being frustrated about that because it was after the bye week. It's like, dude, that's for the bye week. What are you doing? Well, I'll be damned. That's when they went on a run. Like, that's when everything changed. And he said things that were very specific at that time. It was about, practice and preparation. He said almost the exact same things in this press conference this week about the same thing, saying we're going to change some things up about practice and preparation. I don't know what that is, but my sneaking suspicion, my little, tinfoil Packers hat, is that he's trying to help develop Adam Stinovich, right? He's trying to help his guy who's the first-time offensive coordinator. He's still learning how to be that guy. He's certainly not calling the plays right now, but it feels like there are times where LaFleur hands the ropes to him, and you can feel that it's not as good. You can feel that things are not as good. And that may just me be, like some fantastical, theory and everything like that. I would love to believe that Stinovich is a great guy, great qualified guy. He seems like a great guy. Players love him and all that. But he's still a first-time offensive coordinator, and I do hold that against him in some regard. I want LaFleur's best here. And if LaFleur brings his best this week and Hafley brings his best this week, they win the game. So that's where I'm going to say they bring their best, they win this game.
Well, Acme Army, I want to say thanks for the comments for Acme Army here. He obviously thinks he's going to be there, and he thinks that Hafley and Xavier is going to bring his best 2 interceptions. That's
talking about.
I don't know.
You got to stop the run if you want to intercept Jalen.
True. Yep.
But the Packers have done that better this season than they have in the recent past. So there's.
I'm not questioning if they can. I'm just saying what the Packers need to do is play their brand of football and play well.
Yes, absolutely.
If the defense picks that day to fall apart, all bets are off.
7th letter. What do you think?
I think they could beat the Eagles. I'm not sold on the Eagles. Be honest.
Right. Well, that's a Jalen bias. I get it.
I think it's not that. It's just like I think that they could just stack the box and let Jalen Hurts beat you. To be honest, like just stop the run. I think that they run through Saquon. They beat bad teams. They beat the Ravens, but that's when the kicker missed like 3 field goals. The game's much different. Then they're talented enough to keep games close. I just think the Packers have enough on defense, enough talent on defense to stop the run. If you stop the run, let Jalen Hurts beat you, which I don't think he do. If you keep the pocket looking a little crazy for him, he'll start looking at the line of scrimmage and he won't look downfield no more. It'll be just like last year. That's what happened. That's one thing Nick Bosa figured out. And he said it after the game, like he looks at the line. He's trying to find a lane to get out of there and run. If you make him stop looking down the field, then you take away all the receivers. That's how you beat them. You know what I'm saying? And Saquon, he kind of carried them this year. If you want to be truly honest, like he had 14 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 14 rushing touchdowns. Saquon took him down to the red zone every time, mostly. So Saquon carried that team. Stop him and let that undisciplined ass front 7 that the Eagles got stop you. What I want y'all to do so bad, y'all do this play where y'all motion Josh Jacobs from like slot to the run to back to running back, and then y'all run the play. I just want y'all to do a play action one time. Oh,
smart play, yeah.
Oh my God! Like I can see it. I know. I don't trust the Eagles. I didn't think they were that good before when they went to the Super Bowl. Now they did play the Chiefs tough, granted, but I just think that they had the easiest road to the Super Bowl ever.
Well, I'm looking at their schedule, and like they don't have a real impressive win outside the Ravens win.
They ain't played nobody. They had enough talent to beat the Ravens, but the Ravens is another one of those teams. Yep. Like the Ravens beat themselves because sometimes Lamar holds the ball too long. And one thing the Eagles do have is a good secondary. You know what I'm saying? And I think if homeboy getting that ball out, I think y'all can do something with him. So I'm gonna go Packers. I don't like the Eagles.
Well, you know me, I'm always going against the Packers. I think Jalen Carter is going to have a play here that's going to change the game. And obviously now the narrative is the Bears should have drafted him. So he's going to be a Packer killer here. I think this week, I get it. I mean, there's always optimism in Green Bay until there isn't, So I just – I think Eagles are on a mission. I think Saquon is on a mission. Like, I think, obviously, Yeah, so I think he's going to be rested. Jalen Hurts, I heard LaShawn McCoy was saying on one of his shows that he's been talking to him, and he's okay. He's ready to go. And hey, I've been on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon for a while. I still think he is good, and I think he's at least enough to beat the Packers. But I mean, obviously, we'll find out. That's why they play games.
How did they lose to the Packers before?
I mean,
how did the Packers lose to the Eagles before? Who beat them
in the first game? Yeah, the Packers beat themselves.
Yeah, Saquon went off in the second half. Like, it wasn't them.
He's on a mission. He's on a mission.
Oh, I don't.
Those Philly fans too. Those Philly fans.
Love got hurt at the end. That's right.
He did. Yeah, he did get hurt. That's right.
Yeah, Malik came in. He got hurt at the end. The Packers could have easily bought that one.
But that was just so many different circumstances. You're also in Brazil, but you got your first game, with your new defensive coordinator. Defense was a totally different unit than it is now. So, I mean, there's a lot of differences.
Way too much
Packers play up. Packers play up and they play down. That's what they do. It's never just. No, it's like we playing the fucking Chiefs. We gonna look great. We gonna look great out here. We playing the Giants. We're going to play down to the Giants. That's what y'all do. So I think historically, you guys have always played up. I don't trust the Eagles. Jalen Hurts he got a headache now. Through the Roschon Johnson situation, after that concussion, he never really the same again. You know what I mean? And Jalen Hurts might be a little bit afraid to run.
I think he's good.
Mind, you know what I mean?
JJ, did you need to drop out here?
I do have to hop off, but thank you so much for having me on here. This is a blast.
Where can everyone find you as you kind of hop out here?
Yeah, so if you want to listen to our weekly live stream, derailedfootball.com. We have a blast. It's me and Jake Shavink. Again, we talk about Green Bay Packers, NFL Draft, and Northern College football. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We have a real good time over there. And then you can also follow me on X at JJLAHEY. That's JJ Leahy.
Awesome. Thanks again, JJ. And we're going to move on now to some of the other stuff. Obviously, we don't have our Vikings person, but seventh letter, Vikings.
Hey, man, you got to get me off this Viking spot. I can't be on here anymore. This is awful.
Right, I'll be on the Vikings.
There we go. All right.
All right. Seventh letter, I'll let you start here. What are some keys of the Rams? I mean, the Bears beat the Rams. Bears should have beat the Vikings at least once. So seventh letter, what are your keys to that game? I mean, the Vikings are on the road. They're point favorite. What are some keys here?
Listen, bro. I think if they think that if our pass rush was getting through there, I don't know what you think gonna happen with the Rams. Like that's the only thing they got on defense is a little bit of pass rush. So, I looked at the game from week 8 or something like that, twice this week just to see like what happened. They don't have the same kind of secondary we have, but I do think that the Rams got a really good chance to give the Vikings another headache. You know what I mean? Like the Vikings defense is very aggressive, super aggressive, but Matthew Stafford has always been really good against those type of defenses. Always been good at it. And I don't know why Puka Nacua is good. I don't know. He ain't fast. He ain't he's just a beast. Like
he's got a lunch pail. Like the way he just runs.
I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you go like of course you got Cooper Kupp who he ain't gonna drop passes. He's gonna get open. You're gonna kind of forget about him a little bit. But I think he can bust they secondary ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was I don't know. I think I just don't. I always think that the Vikings kind of faking it anyway. I don't think they really built for this type of atmosphere. I don't think they run the ball enough. I think I don't know, the way the Rams play, they kind of like the old Patriots where they just drag you in the mud with them and you got to get out the mud. Like if you're not a muddy person, you're not going to really match up well with them. And I think that's what the Rams do to people. They just kind of come down here with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Come down here with me. Come down here with me. We're going to run these motion plays. We're going to get these cornerbacks to crack back you. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get these wide receivers to crack back you. Like we're going So I don't know. I just don't think it's a good matchup for the Vikings. It wasn't the first time. I know they talk about the face mask, but if you think about it, like, okay, they were already on like the 5. They would only went up to the 20. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's whatever. It's not like they were in field goal range and no shit like that. They were down 7 or 8 already. I think something like that. It was 20. So it's like, whatever. Yeah, they missed the face mask, but whatever. Like, Sam Darnold was looking scared anyway already. So it wasn't his best game at that point. It will be it's looking like it might be the same way it was the first time, to be honest. Like,
yeah,
I told y'all before, I told the Vikings fans before, y'all got that fumble from Monty, and that's the only reason why that game was close. This shit was turning out about to be a blowout the first time we played, y'all, and then we finally got our blowout this week. We showed the world who you are, defensively and offensively. And I think the Rams is going to. And also, don't forget about the similarity in the coaches. You know, McConnell comes from that tree.
Yep.
So those games are always going to be pretty close anyway, because, you know, they kind of know what each other do. So keep that in mind. I just think that the pass rush from the Rams are going to give Darnold headaches. And he doesn't seem like the most resilient cat. I mean, you know, I knew it would Darnold soon. And it was when it all mattered. You know what I mean? And this is another one. You thought last game was a big game. This is your biggest game that you've played so far in your career. So let's see how you stand up. I think he's gonna lose a lot of money. He might get that Baker Mayfield deal. You know?
Oh no.
Yeah. So Rams run drag routes on the blitz down. So it's gonna be interesting. Miles, are you thinking the Vikings story ends this week as well?
I am. And you know, this is gonna sound like some salty Packers stuff, but this was just kind of my gut observation when I saw it. When they were celebrating like they won the Super Bowl after they beat the Packers, I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not good. No, like you got that should have been a business as usual. Like you could be pumped about that, but man, they had Darnold up on their shoulders in the locker room and standing against the wall, looking like job's done. That's what that looked like to me. I was like, dude, that's not good. That's not the energy you want right there. And then what happens the next week? You know, what happens against the real test against the Lions? You want to, you know, you're headed into the playoffs. Well, here you go. It's playoffs.
We gave you man to man.
And we gave you one of the best in the game. He should be able to beat man to man. So there was, and listen, I think O'Connell's a fantastic leader. As much as I hate to admit that, you know, the clip going around where he's in Darnold's ear telling him to calm down and all that. He seems like a fantastic leader, but it feels like they kind of peaked their energy a little too early. And, you know, I'm looking like, you know, like the Rams, you're right, seventh letter. They kind of bring you down into the mud. It's like a gator. Like if a gator gets you in the water, you're in trouble. The gator on land, you're fine. And they beat the Bills. It's like,
and they played the Lions tough week 1 too. So
it took us to overtime.
You know, I think the Rams are a sneaky good team, right? They started out what they were 1-4, right? And then they went on. I mean, obviously a good run at the end, but
they were hurt. They were so injured,
right?
I mean, when the Packers played them, they were really injured. As much as I'd love to celebrate that, it's just true.
The only thing that can really throw things off here, it might be interesting. Obviously, the wildfires, things in California. If the game gets moved to Arizona. It's a possibility. Obviously, shout out to Shelby and everyone there in California. Stay safe and all that. But you know, if it's in Arizona, that could be an interesting thing. That almost could even be more motivating for the Rams in their rivals, home field to win this game. But the Rams are sneaky good, and I think. When you look at them, I wonder if it's almost a parallel to the Packers last year, the Rams, right? You know, in just playing well at the right time, under the radar, and just kind of go on a run. So obviously the Packers, want to say that, that they're same as last year. I think the Rams could be similar to what the Packers were and maybe go on a run. get the NFC Championship, or maybe even giving the Lions fits in the following. We'll see.
Again. They'll never beat us ever again. Matthew Stafford will never beat us again.
I don't think the Rams are nearly as dangerous on the road as they are at home.
Okay, that's fair.
No,
but
no. I do think I just don't think that they got enough personnel wise. I think they too young. The defense kind of wears down, and if you ever notice, like later, like the Rams they hit hard. They physically fucking front. But after a while, like when you keep on running into that wall, and then all of a sudden they start to crease a little. If you look at when we played them, they held up against that run good as hell. What happened? We just handed that off at the end in overtime. We didn't even throw, I don't think. It was run. Monty's
not there this time, though. Hey, what I'm saying,
Monty
though.
coming back.
Yeah, he is. He's coming back.
Is he? Is he?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
All right. That's fair. But hey, I'm just saying, how crazy would that be if the Rams go to the Super Bowl with the year after Aaron Darnold leaves?
They won't.
All right.
They're not good enough.
I don't think they're that good.
Yeah. All right, but they don't have that we had before.
We're all saying that they are good enough to beat the Vikings this week, though, right?
I think the Vikings good enough to beat the Rams. I just don't think. I think Aaron Darnold. I think Sam Darnold. After he saw those ghosts.
Yeah.
After he saw those ghosts in New York, he was never the same. Sam Darnold's first game was against us, and they beat the shit out of us. And about week 6, when he played those Patriots, he was seeing ghosts, and he never was the same. Never was the same.
Wild.
Well, speaking of never the same, with the Bears head coaching, obviously it's a crazy thing now. We'll go ahead and touch on that. The craziest thing about this whole search is that just the list just continues to grow. There's here we got these are the scheduled interviews: Pete Carroll, Ben Johnson, Mike Kafka, the Giants offensive coordinator. Love it. Okay. Mike Vrabel, Aaron Glenn. Those are the scheduled ones. We also have all these other ones that have requested interviews. Matt Campbell, Iowa State head coach. All of these, it's just like this net is crazy big. And also we had a comment earlier as well that I wanted to get to. Yeah, Arthur Smith. Although I do like him as an offense coordinator, I just don't know head coach. Let me see if I can find the comment. It was way over here.
You got 2 Rooney rules up there. You got some Thomas Brown action and Flores.
So the biggest thing I know Chicago radio was not happy is that obviously they should have. We fired Eberflus a long time ago. We should have already started and had some of those candidates already interviewed. Byron Leftwich could have been an interview that that Chicago radio said that we should have done already, right? And be more ruthless in this. But now it's kind of like it's playtime. We got 14 whatever candidates, and not only that, Alex Galvez had a good question here. How do y'all feel about the Bears only interviewing prospecting candidate coaches through video conference? That's another kind of misstep when you're looking at Mike Vrabel obviously going into the building with the Patriots, but being interviewed via Skype. So I don't know. Obviously Chicago radio is melting down over this. I am remaining positive that I think
they want to stick their hand in the pot before because there's a lot of openings like the Patriots opened up, the Raiders opened up. I think that it's another one of those kind of arrogant things that y'all doing because y'all got Caleb Williams and everybody wants to work with him. You know what I'm saying? It's a little arrogant. Y'all got a lot to work with. It's a very good place. I mean, if you build that offensive lineup, it's a good team to have. You know what I'm saying? But just another show of arrogance from Poles and them. You know what I mean? McCaskey was a little bit more I'm not good enough. It's all my fault. You know what I'm saying? The most accountability.
McCaskey in a second here. We'll get to McCaskey in a second. But the biggest thing I think, glass half full Bears fan, and I'm not hearing this necessarily on Chicago radio, but glass half full is they're interviewing candidates because they want to hear just all this different input on what Caleb Williams does well and what he needs to improve on. Right. I think that would be, if I'm looking at it for a glass half full, and you know me, I always try to look for a glass half full on Bears stuff, is that they're trying to do that. Now, is it a high likelihood that they could screw this up? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds like, Pete Carroll could be, a choice here because he's a leader of men. But just, it's not that difficult. Go with Ben Johnson. He wants to be there. Mike Vrabel, I'm hearing some different reports that, some players just, didn't like him. Obviously, he, rubbed a lot of players the wrong way. Some players loved him, and maybe some Bears players need some heavy hand, but I don't like it defensively. I need an offensive guy. Pete Carroll's too old. I go with the choice, Ben Johnson. That's what the choice is. And don't go with any of these other guys, Drew Petzing, David Shaw. Great coaches, right? David Shaw, great with Stanford and all these coaches. But just do it. Do what needs to be done and choose the hot candidate that wants to be there. So, that's basically.
They also have to fit it's a big thing. They also have to fit the one thing that's really important about a coach of a franchise is they got to fit the city. And the Chicago's like a place like somebody like a Mike Vrabel will fit in real well because he's tough. And I think that honestly, man,
you develop a quarterback.
Y'all had this era, even Caleb Williams, I feel we a playoff team. We all thought the same thing. Y'all way better than 5-11.
We would have been without Eberflus. Yeah.
No, way better. Way better. You don't play us, everybody in the division that tough, and you suck that bad.
No.
So you got to have somebody you tried the Eberflus, the intellectual or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody that fits the character of the city. Somebody that's gonna humble everybody where it's a team effort, where you ain't got a fucking asshole wide receiver that throws an interception and puts his hands in his pocket.
Team,
yo. I gotta keep telling you this every week, Andy. When are you gonna listen?
You can't let that guy stay in the locker room.
I agreed. I turned on Keenan Allen toward the season 2.
Get him off
this is a great question. That's the problem. I love Aaron Glenn and what he's done with a depleted Detroit defense. They just continue to come at the Vikings. But the question is, who is the offensive coordinator that's going to come? And that's the problem. If you continue to have multiple offensive coordinators, it's going to continue to stunt Caleb. And obviously he was able to kind of, fight through some of that, even though the Chicago leadership, is not seeing much of it, but that's a mess in itself. But just do the easy thing. Go with Ben Johnson. To me, that's what needs to be done.
What do you make of this comment by Poles where he says we're going to surprise you, or something, whatever, surprising candidates or something like that? What do you make of that? Is that a good thing? Is it good to be surprised?
No, I think that's the problem.
It's not going to be Ben Johnson. They're going to like him more than
that's what I'm really thinking. It's wait, surprise. Well, Ben Johnson seems like the opposite of a surprise. So are you buttering people up for not Ben Johnson?
Well, no. So this is the surprise of these other requests, but the Matt Campbell, and that's Chicago radio talked about that maybe he's had Matt Campbell in his back pocket for a while here. Obviously, he's had interviews. I think he had 9 interviews the last few years for head coaching jobs. And get I'm an Iowa fan. He's an Iowa State coach. He's done a lot with Iowa State. Give him all the credit. That's in college, though, right?
Yeah, you're not developing an NFL quarterback.
You're not. I mean, he has had some good offensive schemes that have worked in multiple levels of football, but that's just not enough. That actually, as a Chicago fan, that makes me think of back when the Bulls post Jordan. You might remember this 7th letter being a Jordan fan. Post Jordan, who did the Bulls choose as their coach? Former Iowa State coach, Tim Floyd. It was just get out of here with this Iowa State coach. It was a disaster. That is not what we need. That I thought of that when I said I heard Iowa State coach. I'm like, I don't want that. No, I don't want it. Give me Ben Johnson. Give me a winner. Let's go. And there's just a lot. Poles has kind of come out not looking good in some press conferences as well. Just he was asked by Chicago radio about the it was speed bumps basically in Caleb Williams, year in development. And he was like, well, what speed bumps? Like, you fired your coach. Like,
Boy,
okay,
what?
you fired your coach. Hello.
Yeah.
So
He said he had 3 offensive coordinators his rookie year. Like, what do you mean, bro?
So exactly. So that's, I mean, obviously, we're going to be watching that soon. And who knows? Maybe we'll have one next week. Maybe we won't. I mean, obviously, if the it's Ben Johnson, it's going to be drawn out. But who knows? I don't know. I mean, from the outside looking in, 7th letter, are you worried about the Bears at all with Ben Johnson?
I think like if y'all get an offensive line, yeah,
that's the problem. Yeah, I mean, we're not bringing Detroit's offensive line. I get it. Yep.
Yeah. And he probably gonna get rid of Swift. He gonna get rid of because the reason why we got rid of Swift is because he kind of the difference between him and Jahmyr Gibbs is like the after contact runs, and that's the knock on Swift, and that's his thing. So you still gotta build around his offense. He gonna play the Caleb strength though. That's his superpower. Like he knows, like he understands how to get people open, and man, like that's we got Montgomery and let go of Jamal Williams because of Montgomery after contact runs. Like it was important to him in his offense. So in order for his offense to look like it's supposed to look, like right now is what he envisioned. He has the pieces, Jameson Williams, fast, taking the defense back, keeping everybody honest so we can run everything underneath. If they take away Amon-Ra, we'll just throw it to Gibbs. We'll keep on throwing it to him. You know what I'm saying? And
I think it's funny how everybody mocked y'all's front office when they celebrated so hard after drafting Gibbs. And I was like,
remember that. Yeah.
Who's laughing now?
During that draft, what I say? I was like, get Bijan Robinson. Get Bijan. We need a running back. Like, even with Swift. Like, I like Swift. I drafted him. But it was just he's kind of soft. He kind of like don't pick the holes. Like, it used to frustrate the shit out of Sewell. Like, yo, right here. He trying to bounce it out of bounds. Like, right here. Like, you see how Gibbs, it scares me because Gibbs ain't the biggest guy, but he runs through those holes. You know what I'm saying? It's like
great vision.
Yes, that's my man. I just want to shine a light on. I love that kid, yo. I love him. He is incredible. Like that shit that he did the other day. It's like the team that I got now, when those lights is on, oh my God. Like, yo, do you know we 12-2 in primetime games? I ain't never had that before.
Yeah.
That's
why I can't hate on Lions fans right now, man. Y'all are getting what you've been waiting so long for. It's like, act a fool. I get it. Go ahead.
I love you. I love you, Miles. I love you, Miles. I love you, yo. You know why everybody mad at us right now, yo? They don't think we should be this happy. Be humble, you fucking
man. You guys been going at it for a long time.
They calling us sexual assaulters and everything now. We disrespecting people, women out here now, and they the worst fans. Like the Vikings wasn't acting like that 2 years ago. When I first started this show. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me, yo? They just we arrogant now. We can't talk. Y'all call us shitty forever, call us bums and all this stuff. Now but the Lions fans are the worst because they this and that. Like, there's gonna be assholes in every stadium. You been to Philly?
Absolutely.
You been to Philly? I almost beat up a dude and his son. Like I was about to in Giant Stadium. Like I had to yo, listen, man, lady, you got to shut up before I punch your son in the face. Stop it. He's like, mommy, no. Mom, stop. Really?
Wow.
Yo.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Fans are assholes. It is what it is. The NFL is the greatest soap opera ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really is.
Because it takes you. It's all NFL football is a reality TV show. It takes your emotions here. You feel like you die when you lose.
Yeah.
And I feel physically. My wife says it's really terrible that the happiness in our marriage all depends on after 4:00 whether or not Detroit Lions win or lose. You understand? And when I have Facebook memories, memories that take us back to when fucking fat Patricia was my coach. Like, like I've been through hell and back.
Yeah, man, you really.
Well, that's why I try to stick up for Lions fans. Obviously, a lot you hear and Miles. I don't think you do this, but a lot of times Packer fans will be like, throwing shade at Lions when they're celebrating and win the division. Well, we only celebrate championships. That's
we don't hang division banners. Which I'll sling that line a little bit, but no, go ahead and hang your division banner. Man.
Packers
absolutely
fans
enjoy it.
Packers fans are when people go to other countries and they come with their American shit. And they just think they better than all of the people at the island that they visited. This beautiful ass island, and fuck you. I can.
You're not
wear
wrong.
no shirt. Fuck your bitches for $12. Like all of it. Like that's what they act like.
We're not the number one in that spot. The Patriots fans are number one in that spot.
My son's nurse today was a Patriots fan. He's a Patriots fan, and I'm like, well, sucks to be you, man. Like
yeah.
So
back down.
I mean that it's going to be interesting. Obviously, if the Vikings do win and get to the Super Bowl. I mean, this is a question for another day, maybe, but I mean, we can touch on it. Which fan base would be worse to actually break through and get the championship, the Lions or the Vikings? I mean, I feel like
the Vikings for sure. The Vikings.
I know. I won't be no good, bro. I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna be no good. I'm just not. I'm like
you're gonna be like.
I hear you, and again, go ham, dude. Go ham. I'm not gonna stop you.
You deserve it.
The Vikings fans would just be worse. There's just no comparison.
I keep telling them, but they don't believe me. I'm like, yo, bro, did you see yourself, yo? Like y'all was blocking me. You know what I'm saying? When we beat y'all the first time in 2022, y'all was blocking me. Like, yo, you weird, yo. Why you following me? I said, yo, I'm gonna text every Vikings fan up here when we beat y'all on Sunday. Yo, you weird, you bitch. Like, yo, why you calling me names? You see me on Twitter, Andy.
Oh yeah.
So respectful. They say
absolutely.
All I'm like, yo, man, we just got to disagree with you, man. Yo, you have a nice day. I follow them and everything, and they got to respect.
Yep.
I'm not here for that. Like, they just weird. You know what I mean? Like, and then look, when they lose, we had two Vikings up here. We had two Vikings up here all season.
All season.
Yeah, I don't
Yep.
Yo, 2022, we had 3.
We did.
Now look again. I'll give Shelby gets a permission slip.
Shelby
don't
does,
have to come to school today.
For sure.
We're low man at this week, Andy. Where is he?
I did invite him. He said no. I don't know if he had something else to do, but I did invite him.
I miss school Monday. I can't miss another day of school this week. I told his little ass. He
came for you pretty hot, pretty quick. Joseph, been a Lions fan since 1973, long time coming.
That's
I totally get it as a Cubs fan. When the Cubs won the World Series, I was emotional, all that, and I was like, hey, especially living in Wisconsin, I was like, you can't, Brewers haven't done it, so I get it. I think the Lions are a team that it's easy to root for that way, fan base. The Vikings are, just kind of just icky, because I spent 10 years in Minnesota. I lived in Minnesota. And it was just kind of like an icky, like feeling like, I could feel like if, especially, that year that they lost to the Falcons, if they had gone and won the Super Bowl, it just would have been
insufferable. It would have been insufferable.
What happened that game? They choked. Always do.
Just like the Vikings do.
They choked.
Sunday.
They choked.
And listen, as good as the NFC North has been this season, and the Packers are kind of excluded from this because the Vikings and the Lions are the ones with the top records in the division here. One of y'all are going to finish this season with just another stinker, disappointing season.
Oh, God.
Like, that's just facts. One of y'all is going to finish this season as just a same old on-brand, disappointing BS.
I think the Super Bowl.
I think with the
Vikings to do it.
I think the Vikings, it might
coming with me.
I'll come with. It might the Vikings. It might be a little bit more understandable because right now the Vikings like, well, we were rebuilding season. We've got Sam Darnold. We don't have our number one quarterback, right? So there's built-in
Not at this
excuses,
point.
right? Like the Packers have had built-in excuses with young
said it.
team, this and that, you know.
He called it a competitive rebuild.
A competitive
rebuild. That's what he called it. Kwesi called it that. We can still be good while we rebuild.
Hey, I'll give Kwesi, I'll give them from what even Chicago radio gives the Vikings a lot of props for their organizational structure and culture, what they've done. Kwesi's done a fantastic job. It's just not, you know, they're not built yet.
Bro,
they're not ready.
Draft good. His free agent signings, he hit on. He hit on the free agent signings, but that's because he had to build that scheme for Flores. Flores knew he won. He went out. I need a pass rusher. We got rid of Hunter. We're gonna go cheaper. We're gonna get Van Ginkel. We're gonna get Greenard. We're gonna get these old ass cornerbacks that's getting them killed because it's about to happen. This weekend. It's about to happen because the cornerbacks are really old and slow. All right. You know what I'm saying? They already have the guy from the Falcons, not the Falcons, the Cardinals. They got number 7. You know what I'm saying? 24 is always a step late. You don't know if you've seen him. He always was. Every time Gibbs was running by, 24 was getting ran by. Yeah, listen, man. And old ass Harrison, only one. You know the best player on their team, best player on that fucking Van Ginkel, man.
Van Ginkel, man. Yes. Badgers, baby. Yes. Let's go.
Him and
that's right.
Ivan Pace. God damn, yo. They are headaches, yo.
And Pace was undrafted, I believe. So
yes, he was. And look, he ain't even draft him. Who are the people this man drafted?
You know, seventh letter. I feel like the Vikings have to win this week, though. They have to win.
Why? So they
because we're not going to have a Vikings person next week. Then
no, you won't.
If they don't win,
they'll be out. They'll be done. Done with the show for the season.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a check. Or what do you call them when you call the police to go check their house?
Wellness check. A wellness check. Yeah.
Wellness check. Yeah.
The wellness check.
Yeah.
Well, this is. Hey, tell you what, this has been a fantastic show. I definitely appreciate both of you guys, and obviously JJ for coming on as well. Miles, where can everyone find you as we close out?
Hey, y'all go over to the Packers Talk YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button for us. We're streaming live every Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Central. Just doing weekly Packers talk, just having some fun. We're gonna do some real hands-on stuff for the draft season, so stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Very good stuff. Definitely like and subscribe. You can find me on NFLOutdated on Twitter, on YouTube, and the Freezin #4 pod on TikTok. And hopefully 2025, it started out. We're 1-0, baby. 1-0. 1-0.
Touche. You are 1-0 in this year of 2025.
Yes, you are.
But we are not on the top. 7th letter. Where can we find you?
You can find me 7th letter 4. On Twitter X, same OG, Instagram, and Facebook. On top of the NFC North, once again, and still, you know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure to see you guys, man. It's been a fucking blast. I appreciate y'all so much, and you be safe. Miles, handle business on Sunday. Stop playing.
I got this Reggie energy.
Business. Right, Andy, I need you to work on this, okay?
All right.
Don't disobey the King of the North. Get number 13 off your team. I want you to call that radio station, and I want you to.
I'm going to drive to Hollis Hall myself.
Get him out of Chicago. If you want to be a winner someday, like me. If you want to be like me someday at the top.
I want to grow up to be like you. Yes, I do.
Thank you. If
and
you want to grow up and be like me, get that man off your team. He has.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You can't be a champion with losers like that on your team.
Well, you can. He never won anywhere he's ever been. He's never won.
Yeah, okay? That's a good point. Right. They left in the Chargers in the playoffs now. So, that's a good point, too. Well, once again, it's been the Freezin NFC North Podcast, week 18 review and the playoff preview. Thanks again, everybody, and we will see you next week. We will have some playoff games to review. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks again for joining us.